Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News. As we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches, the BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Hey, how we doing, Bronco Nation? Let me know if you can hear me all right. BJ Rains here at ExtraMile Arena as we get set for Boise State and Wyoming. We got a packed pregame show coming up for you. Gloria Nevarez, Mountain West Commissioner, going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. We got Abe Jackson. We got our man Rich Waltz, who's doing the play-by-play for CBS Sports. And John Mallory will probably stop by at some point as well as Boise State looks to keep the winning ways going against Wyoming at home, at least. Obviously coming off the loss to San Diego State, but have been playing well. I think they've got 4 straight double-digit wins at home and trying to obviously keep that going. Had a comment about Marcus Shaver Jr. right off the bat. He is not out here yet, but I am told he is likely to play tonight. So it sounds like Marcus Shaver Jr., if all goes well from the shoot-around this afternoon, is going to likely be able to play tonight. The Bronco Nation updates would rest Shaver, but it sounds like they are probably going to play him. 80-52 is what Chase Love has for his prediction. We will show you some warm-ups here in a little bit. There are a couple players just starting to trickle out onto the court. But again, we got a lot of stuff to get to, and it's going to be a fun pregame show, so that's why we are starting a little bit early. As always, get your score predictions in, your comments in, your questions in, and we will get to those here as we are 72 minutes away from tip-off. Gloria Nevarez, again, the Mountain West Commissioner, going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. I do want to remind folks we're broadcasting from the Cutwater Spirits mobile studios here at ExtraMile Arena. Make sure you pick up one of your more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Rowpaint.com. They got that 15% off deal going. 15% off at rowpaint.com using the promo code BNN15. That's right. BNN15 is the promo code, and you get 15% off the interior painting of your home. So make sure you check that out, rowpaint.com, and they've got that great offer going right now, so they would love to have you take advantage of that. Lithia Ford of Boise as well. They're offering that deal where they'll take your vehicle, your used vehicle. We're on live right now, and Coach Rice wants to just come hang out with us, I guess. We should. I'm getting Rich Waltz on right here, so yeah, we should get Dan on as well. But how about Coach Rice interrupting the live? It was Lithia Ford. They're a BSU sponsor. I guess that's all right. But Lithia Ford of Boise, they will buy your used vehicle. That's right. Even if you don't want to buy from them, take your used vehicle, and they'll make you a cash offer on the spot at Lithia Ford of Boise. You can do it. The Rains family did as well. We purchased our F-150 there. Couldn't be happier with our purchase. And, again, Burns, I'm on live, man. Appreciate you.
Tell everybody hello. I'm live.
Mike Burns says hello as well. Gloria Nevarez, the Mountain West Commissioner, is going to be coming over here very shortly to join us. Idaho Central Credit Union as well. ICCU.com. Make sure you go check them out. ICCU.com. You can get more information. Idaho Central Credit Union. And the Blue and Orange Store. If you're looking for a new here comes Gloria Nevarez. If you're looking for some new Boise State gear, you can check out the blueandorangestore.com. The Blue and Orange Store, 40% off. If you $40 order gets you free shipping. That's right, a free shipping on an order of $40 or more at the Blue and Orange store. And I guess we'll keep going with the sponsors while we're waiting for Gloria to sit down. She's talking to Dan Dickow real quick. ShopRidleys.com. Ridley's Family Markets. They got 13 locations in the state of Idaho. You can get more information. Check it out at ShopRidleys.com. Love the CUNA location there, so make sure you check that one out. And we are very pleased and thankful to be joined by the new commissioner of the Mountain West Conference, Gloria Nevarez. Commissioner, appreciate your time, and thank you so much for coming on with us here. How's it going?
Great. Thanks for having me, BJ.
How's Boise treating you so far?
Oh, it's awesome. Beautiful day. Great atmosphere, facilities, and lots of hospitality.
I know you came for the championship game, but I don't know if you got to do as much exploring and things, whether it be with the campus, but also just the town. You mentioned the beautiful weather. We got the snow-capped mountains right now. But what do you make of the facilities, the campus, and some of your interactions with whether it be President Trump or Andy Avalos or Gordy or Leon, or just some of the things you've been able to do here?
All of the above. The mountain scenery, the venues here, what you built at the 1-2 combo between President Trump and your athletic director, Jeremiah Dickey, and just there's so much strength, so much optimism, and forward motion, for lack of a better word.
And this is what, your fourth visit, fourth tour school you've been to?
Fourth-ish, yes.
I know I asked you about it yesterday, but what is kind of your reasoning for wanting to get out there, and how important is it, and how long is it going to take you to get to all the schools here, and kind of what are your goals when you make these trips?
So I think my philosophy is 95% of what we do in the conference office is here on campus. We're either promoting, we're scheduling, assigning, and so it's really important to get out and understand the different cultures, the different challenges on each campus. In my mind, I was going to get all the visits in like the first 2 months, but given the other meetings, the travel obligations around our basketball tournament, it might take me longer. So I set up one-on-one Zooms with all of our ADs so I could knock those off real quick and take a little more time to get around the horn.
What else has kind of been on your to-do list or your plate here? What other thing? What are you focusing on here in your first month and a half, I guess it is, as commissioner?
Well, every day in a commissioner's life, no matter where you're at today, is something about eyeballing the horizon for expansion. So we have a subcommittee. We have all the data. We have all the analysis, but really lining up, all right, what should we do? Should we add if we don't lose schools? If we do lose schools, what does that look like? So that's definitely a high priority, is make sure we're on a proactive in that space. Brand elevation is definitely high on my priority, as well as CFP expansion and having a voice in that room, and ensuring that, there's more revenue to be had there, and the Mountain West is really well positioned to continue to take.
What do you make of, at least, you were pretty open about it yesterday with San Diego State, and I know, obviously, Boise State fans see them as one of the big kind of rivals in the league here. What, some fans are a little nervous, I guess. What happens if they leave to this league? How confident, I guess, are you that if that happens, this league can survive that?
Absolutely. Now, I don't want to lose San Diego State at all. I think they fit in the league. They've been a wonderful, part of the league and the success they've built there. But also, we're going to be fine, honestly. We have a very secure place in the 10 FBS conferences and in that revenue distribution, and our media rights are dependent in a large part about the windows we provide in the Western region. And so those things don't change, and we still are, in a place of strength. And again, I don't say that because I don't want San Diego to go, but at the same time, I think, we have options.
And I think every school in this conference, if given that opportunity, I would probably take it. And you guys would probably say, you know what, best of luck to you. And I know Boise State fans obviously have that aspiration someday of whether it be Big 12, Pac-12. I don't know if, you've had conversations with that you can say or not, but I would assume that every school in your league, right, that would be a dream of theirs at some point.
Yeah, players on teams, employees in companies, when you start to get up to the top level, and if there's levels above you, it's, I think, human nature to continue to look up, and especially in competitive environments like this. But what I really hope and am proud of about the Mountain West is the place we occupy in the ecosystem is really strong, and if we're sending teams up, hey, better for us, because what we provide is bringing our own teams up together. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Were you thinking this was going to be one of the first things you had to deal with when you took over, or was that this kind of come up on you after you'd taken over, I guess?
Well, when I first took over at the WCC, I had to deal with Gonzaga being wooed by the Mountain West.
That's
so
right.
It's been a constant, like I said, not just in my commissioner path, but in all the 32 Division I commissioners. I don't think there's been any, except maybe the Ivy, that haven't been impacted in some way.
See, I'll just throw it out there. That's my dream of if San Diego State leaves, I think you just go at Gonzaga, get him, talk to him again, bring him in for basketball, and there you go. I mean, that would be the.
Well, we certainly know who to call.
I know, I put you in a tough spot there, but
I have the right cell phone numbers.
I said it on the radio yesterday. That would be a perfect scenario for me. But it seems like I'm sure you have so much other things like these visits and things you want to do. Is that I don't know if it's taking too much of your time up, or is that more time than you'd like having to deal with the expansion stuff, or is that just part of the job?
It's part of the job, and I'm at visits, but we're all networked, we're all social, and so we have a really strong team back in Colorado Springs, churning on a lot of stuff, and we talked about it yesterday, brand elevation and getting our strategic vision, really, getting that emotional response, that national recognition when you think about the Mountain West as a brand. We don't hire coaches. I don't, recruit athletes or build facilities, but what we do is amplify all the great work as a collective that's happening on our campuses.
It seems like with the teams that are leaving, to join the Big 12, the Mountain West really is positioned to be that dominant group of 5 league. And with the playoffs starting, I mean, do you feel like you guys are in a chance where on a year-by-year basis, you guys can start to have a team that can get in that playoff? And what does that do revenue-wise if that can be the case?
Absolutely. You're speaking it into existence. It's in my head and my heart, and that's where I believe our future is.
Yeah, but I mean, it just seems like you guys are in a really good spot football-wise. And is that – I guess I don't know if that was one of the reasons why you took the job, but I would have to think that moving forward, you do feel like, at least with the playoff expanding, the Mountain West should be a big beneficiary of that.
Absolutely. And when you go to our campuses, you really feel it. The history of football, the packing of the arenas and the stadiums, and, no matter where your team is in a building year or at the top of the league, we have these really strong fan bases that make playing at home really tough for the opponent. And it's a special thing about our league in the Western region. I
know yesterday you were asked about kind of what you've liked and maybe not liked, but has there been anything that's surprised you in 7 weeks on the job or whatever it's been here that you didn't know, either that you do like, or something that surprised you that needs to change around the league?
Well, what's really surprised me is I haven't found anything that surprised me, right? Typically when you start a new job, there's always something you're like, oh, nobody told me about that. But honestly, the themes have been the same. We have such alignment and consistency. And again, I think it's lift and trajectory that is wanted from the conference office. There's nothing fundamentally broken.
Mm-hmm. What do you make of the Mountain West basketball? And I know you guys are doing a great job with the bullet points and the weekly release and trying to push the 5-team, 5-bid league and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, there's been some pretty exciting games here the last several weeks. You obviously know basketball very well. What's it like, the quality of basketball you're coming into here as well?
Well, what's amazing is the 72% non-conference win percentage. I mean, that is a conference ideal. That's a gold standard. And that means that coaches knew what types of teams they had coming in. They scheduled correctly for where they were in the cycle, whether you're looking at seeding or you're looking at rebuilding, and they won the games they needed to win. So now that we're deep in conference play, and it's still a lot of basketball left to be played, a lot of great basketball. But if you stub your toe, lose a game that you weren't supposed to, you're not going to drop off the face of the net ranking. It's, you're just, it's keeping all teams moving in the same direction.
Are you still on the NIT selection committee?
No, I was subdivisional representation, so changing subdivisions meant I lost the spot.
Oh, okay. Because at one time, Craig was on this actual selection committee. Did you take his spot then for that, or are you you're not on the selection committee? Are you?
No, he had already rolled off.
Okay. So what can you do in terms of? Do you get in the ear of people on the committee and try to, or people in your department to make sure you're to make sure that they are paying attention to Mountain? Because I hate it, but a lot of these games are starting at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and so it's after midnight on the East Coast, and you just hope that the East Coast bias doesn't come into play here.
Our main audience this time of year is the selection committee. We have 2 reps assigned to our team. We talk with them often. We are, everything you get, they get from us tenfold. We text them, we call them when they, if there's something. And honestly, we have 2 really great reps. They are watching all our games. They are intimately familiar with our league and been really great for us.
What would be your parting message here to Boise State fans watching this, and I guess Mountain West fans, but particularly Boise State fans, just about, I guess, your message to them, or your thoughts on 7 weeks on the job here and the conference relationship with Boise State here?
I think it's phenomenal. I love what's gone on here. Like I said, the administration, the alignment, and the best thing any conference can do for the league is just keep winning.
Well, it should be a fun game tonight, and then looking forward to the rest of the regular season. And then you're familiar with conference tournaments in Vegas, but obviously it'll be a new venue for you, a new setup. So you're looking forward to being down there?
Absolutely. It'll be my first time at the Mountain West tournament because I was always at others.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it, and what a great atmosphere in Las Vegas having all those tournaments in one place.
Should be a lot of fun. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been great to meet you and get to hear from you the last couple of days, and we'll be following what the league does here, and we're looking forward to the tournament in Vegas.
Appreciate it.
5-bid
Appreciate
league.
what you do. Thank you.
5-bid league, right? Let's keep
working.
Appreciate you. Thanks so much. There she is, the Mountain West Commissioner, Gloria Nevarez, joining us here on the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. And we're very thankful for her giving up her time to join us. Thanks to Teresa Kurtz at the league office for helping us out as well. But Boise Dentistry Co., check it out, boisedentistryco.com. Locations across the Treasure Valley. We're going to have Rich Waltz joining us here in a couple of minutes. By the way, Marcus Shaver Jr. is out on the court warming up. Looks like Shaver is good to go for this one. I'm going to go ahead and just get a picture of Marcus Shaver shooting a shot. And there you go. And right after I did it, Jordan Kay decides to get his phone out and take a picture of Marcus Shaver Jr. as well. So Marcus Shaver Jr. good to go tonight for Boise State. That is good news for Boise State that Marcus Shaver Jr. Is back. And it's interesting because you could have decided not to play him, but they're going to play him tonight. And you have the lead, obviously, in your the position in the standings. You're obviously well ahead of Wyoming, and it's certainly a game that Boise State should be able to win without Marcus Shaver Jr., but Marcus Shaver Jr. is good to go tonight. I am having a problem with the camera, so I cannot show you the warm-ups right now. I am working on that, but get your comments in, your questions, your thoughts, and yes, Marcus Shaver Jr. Is good to go, as we reported earlier today. And I'm going to tweet this out real quick. Looks good to go today against Wyoming. Wyoming's on the court, Boise State on the court. We're going to have Rich Waltz joining us here. He's getting ready to put the headset on in just a minute. Going to tell you about a couple of our sponsors real quick as Rich Waltz gets set. If you got any comments for the play-by-play man, Rich Waltz, let us know. If you're looking for a new job, how about Transportation Compliance Service? Transcomservice.com can help you out every step of the way. Get you out towing that first load in no time. You want to be a truck driver? You want a new job? How about the trucking industry? It's a great industry right now. It's booming with the pandemic. Check it out, transcomservice.com. They can get you all the permits and things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. I kind of shortchanged Boise Dentistry Co. Check them out. They got locations across the Treasure Valley, 5 locations to be exact. Dr. Miner and his staff do a tremendous job. Full family dentistry. So if you're looking for a new dentist, make the switch today to Dr. Miner and Boise Dentistry Co. If you're looking for insurance for your business, United Commercial Insurance, 229-8222, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Make sure you check them out because they can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. So make sure you check them out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. They make business insurance easy. Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate. The number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. BauscherRealEstate.com, 243-8222. Bauscher Real Estate. And don't forget, June 2nd, save the date, the 2nd annual Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament as Rich Waltz gets set to join us here. June 2nd at Timberstone Golf Course, presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union. We got some fun details to come on that. Excuse me. Here in the near future, but make sure you save the date, June 2nd. There's going to be some coaches out there actually working on some players as well, maybe on some NIL deals. So a lot of familiar faces if you're a Boise State fan. We're going to have KTIK radio out there broadcasting as well. So going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you save the date for the 2nd annual Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament. June 2nd is the date. We got Rich Waltz now joining us. How we doing, Rich?
What's going on? How are you?
Rich H as always, man. we had to start off with a commish though. You came in second behind the commish.
Well, I debriefed her after your hard hitting interview.
Yes,
and chatted with her. She's a great addition. CBS works as well with the West Coast Conference, so we have a great relationship with Gloria from our contract there. I love the fact that she's been in a lot of Power 5 programs, worked in major conferences. And I like the fact that she was a shooting guard in college too. So that's a really good combination. Her experience, executive-wise, and history as a player.
Rich Waltz will be the play-by-play man on the CBS Sports Network broadcast tonight. You're a fan favorite in Boise, man. You did a lot of. What'd you end up doing? 4 or 5 football games last year.
Yeah.
You got this one, then you're coming back for the San Diego State game, right, to finish out the home schedule. That should be a fun one. But what do you make of the Broncos here?
Well, first of all, that's nice of you to say because I did the UTEP game, so that wasn't so bueno, right?
I didn't say they like Aaron Taylor. I said they like you.
Oh, easy, because I love Aaron Taylor. No, look, I saw a lot of the Broncos. What a transformation of that football team from the UTEP game on. So it was a lot of fun. We were here Thanksgiving Friday and had the Utah State game as well. This is my first look at the Broncos this year, but they're so familiar. One of the things about Leon's program is that the guys have stuck here. Went to practice today, saw them shoot, saw them run through sets. Leon's really tight with my partner Dan Dickow. They were together at Gonzaga. So this is interesting to me. This, Wyoming is really underdog here, right? I mean, they've got basically 7 guys that they're using right now.
Yep.
They've lost some of the best players in the league. Their leading scorer out. Obviously, EK's out for the whole year. So this will be an interesting game because Boise State hasn't played since February 3rd. This is only their second February game.
Yeah.
But it's a great to be here, and from what I hear, this place will be close to full.
Yeah.
Which it should be with this team, and you'd hope in February. And I'll be back for the San Diego State game, like you said, and I'm sure that'll be sold out. I like this team. Shaver looks good out there, so that's great news for the Bronco fans. The thing that Dan talks about with this basketball team is their connectivity, especially offensively, the way they share the ball, the way they defend. If you sit through a Boise State practice like we did today, you see how much these guys like each other.
Yeah.
And that's not – you think that's obvious, but that's not always the case in college basketball. You can go to a practice and see bad body language and low energy and stuff like that. But the practice that we saw today was upbeat. Guys were ready, rolling. Maybe it had something to do with the 8 days off. Everyone feels healthy and ready to go.
Somebody says Taylor Green's still running. Didn't you have a long run in that game?
He did. It was awesome. It was over the left side, too. Yeah. Once he got on the edge,
91-yard run or something, yeah.
I thought maybe he'd do like Bo Jackson and just run right out of Bronco Stadium and keep going.
So it's Albertson Stadium now. Come on, you got to get the sponsor.
Well, you know what? That was the first game I had done there in like 12, 13 years or so because the TV contract had ESPN had the home games, and then Fox had the home games, but big CBS, I think, trumps that. And
it was cool they were able to make that happen.
Yes. So,
what's this league in general? I know you've been traveling around, seeing a lot of the Mountain West here. What do you make of San Diego State? Obviously, is at the top, but then there's surprising loss last night for New Mexico. But I know House didn't play. But overall, kind of where are you at with the league right now?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I went and you and I texted last night. I was not that surprised that Air Force beat New Mexico. And I know House didn't play, but they're still really good. Mashburn went for 32.
Yeah.
But Joe Scott at Air Force is following that same pattern. First year he was there, this second time around, just like the first year he was there the first time around. They weren't very good. Got a couple recruits in. Next year, they were a headache to play. This year, they're a headache to play, and they're starting to win games, which illustrates to me that the middle of the conference is really, really good. It's better than it was last year. The top of the conference is better than it was last year. So I think you go from top all the way through middle.
Yeah.
And there's no team in the Mountain West that is under 200 or over 200 in the net, which I think the Big 12 is the only other conference in basketball that can say that right now.
Yeah.
So what it means is if you get beat by one of the 4 or 5 teams that's in that rare air, so to speak, you're not going to drop that much. You're going to stay up in the 30s or the 20s.
What do you make of Wyoming and Jeff Linder? And obviously they came in with such high expectations, just been a lot of injuries and issues and kicking guys off the team. Maybe they got nothing to play for and they come in here and let it fly. But overall, obviously, Jeff Linder was one of the hottest coaching names in the country last year, and been a different season for him this year.
Well, you lose the player of the year in the conference preseason, and EK was such a big part of their identity.
Yep.
Last year, there was no team in college basketball that ran their offense through the post more than Wyoming. You take that post out, and suddenly it's like, all right, Maldonado all of a sudden has a different role. They lost Noah Reynolds, their leading scorer. EK's out. And then the 3 transfers that came from Southern California just didn't work out. They weren't playing well. They weren't contributing. You thought that maybe those guys would be starting double-digit scores, and it just wasn't happening. So he's got like 7 guys. The key tonight for Wyoming is they need to hit some threes, and in particular, they need Xavier Dussel and Brendan Wenzel. I've seen them this year. I saw them against San Diego State on CBS. Those 2 guys shot the threes well, and that kept them in the game against San Diego State. And that was a great game without EK. Yeah. And Reynolds didn't play in that game either because he had the first of his, I believe, 3 concussions.
Yeah. So final thing, I guess, just Boise State, obviously, as you said in the open, is the favored team in this game, but sometimes the team with nothing to lose, it seems like for Boise State, though, these next couple of games, these are games that are not going to help them if they win, but they'll really hurt them if they lost. I mean, Boise State could win all 5 games before you come back for that San Diego State game, and first place could be on the line. They just can't really afford to stub their toe in games like this.
That's a great point. And if you took Leon's anxiety level right now, it's probably higher now than it would be against a New Mexico or a San Diego State or Nevada, because these are the type of games where coach's radar is on full alert, full blast, right? Because they're trying to get their team's attention. He may not need to. I think Boise State's prepared in this one. But they're trying to get their team's attention. Like, hey, look, they're on scholarship too. Yeah. They may not have a lot of guys, but Maldonado's a great player, and they got guys that can shoot 3, so let's go.
Yep.
So that's you have to win these games, right? New Mexico didn't last night. It cost them 10 points in the net.
Yeah.
So I think Boise State's in a good frame of mind. I think that the All-Star break, as Leon calls it, came at a great time. Having 8 days off, Shaver looks like he's not maybe 100%, but he's pretty much coming back. And all the bumps and bruises they were able to I guess, smooth out before they head through what is a key stretch through late February.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you coming on. You and Dan Dickow will be on the call coming up at top. Somebody was asking if Joe Cravens, he's done like 3 games in a row. Joe Cravens is a great guy, but no, we got Dan Dickow tonight as the color analyst.
Dan's a better 3-point shooter than Joe.
CBS Sports Network, top of the hour. We appreciate it as always, and we'll maybe pencil this in before the San Diego State game. Wouldn't it be fun if first place is on the line?
I think it will be.
Yeah.
That's one. When I got my schedule this year, I looked down and I was like, that game is going to be lit. I mean, that game is going to be for something. So that'd be cool. BJ, thank you, man.
There he is. We appreciate Rich Waltz for coming on. Hey, go download the Bronco Nation News app. You can download the app, Bronco Nation News, the App Store, Google Play, all those great things. And we would love you to download the free Bronco Nation News app. Abe Jackson getting ready to join us as well. Download, subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're at it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's just youtube.com/Bronco Nation News is the easiest way to find it. youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. Abe Jackson joined us. We have to back up a little bit so your head's not cut off here. I've had 2 much shorter people than you as the first 2 guests.
Well, and boy, I'm by far the least prominent guest you've had on so far.
Well, we got John Mallory still to come, so you won't.
So I'll be third. I'll be third.
Welcome, Abe. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah.
I guess the early good news of the day, Marcus Shaver Jr. is out there warming up. Good sign for the Broncos.
It is, yeah. I mean, you could see how much they missed him against San Diego State. Now, I've had people come up and talk to me like, are they really? Is Boise State really that bad without Marcus Shaver? And I said, well, one, he most of the season has been leading the team in about 4 or 5 different categories, and 2, that's about the worst team you could lose him against because of the way that they have the ability to press. So there's some other teams where if you lose a Tyson or you lose maybe another big guy, it would hurt. But it was just a perfect storm in that San Diego State game, losing Marcus Shaver. So having him back, just the threat of his speed and ball handling could take a lot of teams out of a press.
And he, I assume he's good enough to play, obviously, because he's playing. But some fans say, hey, you could have beat Wyoming without him. Give him 3 more days before the Colorado State game. Where are you on if he's healthy enough to play? You play him. If maybe 3 days would have helped. And obviously, there's no gimmies in this league. But I mean, you are a fairly big favorite tonight.
No, if you are injured or hurt or however you want to state it, and then you go through the recovery and the trainer and the doctors and you say you're good to go and there's all signs, I don't know why you'd hold him out, whether or not you're playing Wyoming or you're playing Colorado State.
Okay.
I mean, he's good to go. Now, is that going to be 38 minutes or is that going to be 20 minutes? We don't know. But every signs have pointed that he's good to go, and you've had a long layoff. He's had an even longer layoff from sitting out the San Diego State game. So I definitely think if he's good to go, you play him out there against Wyoming.
What's up? By the way, the viewership just spiked for whatever reason when you came on. I don't know if it's a lot of 30-something females that are watching or what, but no, I am serious. The viewership has gone up in the last 5 minutes with you sitting down here, so we appreciate the bump.
I think it's just closer to game time.
Maybe that's what it is. When you lose like that, and they haven't had too many losses like that, 20 points, where you pretty much are out of it the whole second half, and then you have the bye. I know the bye helped with injured guys and things like that, but would you rather get back with it? How do you think that week off after a bad loss like that sat with this team?
Well, the competitiveness comes out of you as a player. I mean, I've been there where you have a bad loss and you got to sit for a week, and you don't like that, but it's part of the season. And what's crazy about a basketball season is that there's just so many games, is that you have to really go with the flow and be mentally prepared for anything that comes along, whether that's a bye after a bad game or games that are really close together and you're on the road for 2 in a row like there was last week. So there's so many different scenarios that can come up during a basketball season. And there's just one of them. You had a horrible game, you got blown out, and then you have a bye and you come back, but you get one of your better players back as well because of that bye.
These next couple of games here are kind of those games that don't really help you if you win, but they can really hurt you, like we saw last night when New Mexico losing to Air Force. You got tonight, I think at Colorado State's going to be a sneaky hard game. Mm-hmm. You got UNLV at home, New Mexico at home, obviously the big one, and then you have at San Jose. These next kind of 5 games, realistically, you could say they could go 5-0 and should go 5-0 and could set up a first-place rematch with San Diego State. But in these next couple of games in particular, and maybe the 3 in particular with Wyoming and at San Jose and at Colorado State, I guess just the fact that they don't help you a lot if you win, these kind of scary games where you just can't afford a bad loss. Is that scary at all, or how do you look at these games?
Well, it's the mental preparedness, kind of like what we were talking about it with the schedule and how that all shakes out is with this new era the last 5 or 6 years where it's all about the numbers and who you play on what court and how much did you win or lose by. It really has to have you locked in on every game. I think it almost takes away that the saying a trap game, because every game you could say is a trap game, because if you don't perform at home, you're going to probably drop in the standings. If you get blown out on the road, you might drop in the standings. So every game, no matter who you're playing, you have to bring it, because a 2-point win tonight's not going to get it done. When the standings right here, you got to win by double digits.
I was going to say, with the new way of the analytics and the net ranking and all that, is that a way where Rice can, and the coaching staff can continue to push in the second half when you're up double digits, things like that?
I think so, but I think it also makes it more acceptable to do that. We saw that in football when Boise State was making its run where you couldn't really beat teams by 7 or 14 points to get respect nationally. You had to beat them by 30 or 35.
Sure.
And so, but with the analytics, I think it is a little more acceptable if you're playing your starters and you're up by, 10 or 12 points with 1:30 left, trying to get it to maybe 15 or 16.
But maybe this is a game where you can get up by 10 or 15 and Marcus Shaver Jr. doesn't have to play the last 10
That
minutes.
would be ideal. You get him out there, get his legs underneath him, test that ankle, you get a nice lead, and then get Jace out there. I mean, Jace had a rough game against San Diego State, and this could be a game where I'm not going to say get his confidence back, because he's a confident kid and I'm sure worked through that, but get him out there and get a solid performance tonight. I think it's going to help, because you're going to need all your bench later on in the season, especially for that Mountain West tournament, 3 games in 3 days, hopefully.
Teams saw the trouble he had getting the ball across half court with that pressure, and you would have to think that when Jace Whiting's in the game, there's going to be some teams applying some pressure.
Well, who else saw it was our coaching staff.
Yeah.
And so that's something that they've been working on too. This entire week is probably maybe helping him with some release valves or maybe working on some technique on how to beat it down the court. But he's going to be fine. I think the team's going to be fine. It's a shorthanded Wyoming team. You couldn't probably have a more sad story of what's happened to a program this season from where they were projected from beginning at second place to where they are now at last in the league with the player of the year out, the preseason player of the year out. 3 guys are no longer with the program. Injuries all throughout their roster all year long. It's been a real tough year for Wyoming.
Yeah, I mean, knowing Jeff Linder, obviously, and just what they're going through. I mean, how tough is that? And for these players that know their season's kind of going nowhere here, what's that like for these guys? They still have Hunter Maldonado, Hunter Thompson, some recognizable names, but what's it like as a player when all this stuff's going on?
It's tough. It is tough. And but that's where your leadership comes along, and that's just where your personal pride is. That you want to finish out the season, and you bring it in practice, and then you play as hard as you can in the games, and you're shorthanded, and things haven't gone your way, and it's going to be a tough one here tonight. But they do have some guys that can score. Maldonado has put 30 on Boise State before. Ducell can shoot from 3. He could get 5 or 6 threes in a game. So it's not like this is just a gimme game for the Broncos because Wyoming's shorthanded. They're going to have to play well.
A final thing here, and you'll be on the call in about 11 minutes with Bob Beeler over there on KBOI 670. As always, folks, can turn on the TV, turn down the sound, and I didn't say that when Rich was on. We can say it now. You got to turn the sound down. But final thing, quickly, keys for Boise State in this one.
I think what you mentioned is Boise State to get out to an early lead, or maybe just a solid lead with 12 or 13 minutes left in the game, where you don't really need Marcus Shaver that much to see how his ankle's doing. There was a lot of time off. He had a lot of days to recover, but it's also been something that's been there all year long. So I guarantee you it's not just gone away and is 100%. But I think a quick lead would do wonders. But I would also like to see some of the big guys out there get some minutes for your bench. This is such a scoring and minutes-heavy starting 5 for Boise State. If you get a good lead, it could be some valuable minutes for some guys who haven't gotten in.
Appreciate you as always, Abe. We'll be listening. And we appreciate your time as always.
Thanks,
There he is, Abe Jackson, the best in the business. We appreciate him for coming on. Boise State getting set to host Wyoming Cowboys. Boise State in the white uniforms today. And again, we're broadcasting from the Cutwater Spirits Mobile Studios. More than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. You can see Boise State warming up on the court behind us. We'll give you a look at warm-ups for a few minutes. Lengthy show with 3 guests so far. Still have 1 to go. You got some fans already up in the 3rd level. They've stocked the media room with Kit Kats, it appears, so that's good news. But it's a blackout tonight. You got fans wearing black. You got a large crowd, close to a sellout expected. Should be a fun one. Kurt asks how Najee is doing. He looks pretty good out there. No brace or anything, and he looks like he's energized and ready to go. And I think Marcus Shaver Jr. as well is out there looking good, and we've saved the best for last. We've had the commissioner of the Mountain West, Gloria Nevarez. We've had Rich Waltz, Abe Jackson, but we've saved you, John Mallory, for the end here, Johnny. Can't put your face on the screen. I'm showing warm-ups instead right now, which may be a better option anyway. Appreciate you for coming and stopping by, man, and what do you make of this game tonight, man?
I mean, is there any factor of, this might be a stub-your-toe game or a game that you look past? I don't think Leon Rice would ever look past Jeff Linder. I don't even care what they're playing, right? But you never know. I mean, Linder's a master strategist, and I was going to ask Leon this earlier this week, but I didn't have time at the presser. Do coaches prefer coaching against coaches who they've worked with before and who they know? Some coaches might say yes because you think you might have some inclination of what they're going to do in certain situations, BJ. But I also think other coaches might say no. Like they would prefer to face a coach that they don't know on a personal level and have shared intimate basketball secrets and strategies with. It'd be an interesting question to ask Leon and Coach Linder. But we'll see how this thing shapes up. Boise State's a heavy favorite. Did you get a notice on what the final line was?
I've seen somewhere around 13.5.
Okay, so it's double digits. I would think that's a comfortable cover for Boise State. But again, you just never know. And sometimes you have addition by subtraction.
Yep.
And sometimes when you can trim off, especially on a basketball team, when you have, I don't want to say the word cancer, obviously, because this is basketball, right? But when you have, I'll say poison, when sometimes you can let certain things poison your program. And sometimes that poison can come from players that, for whatever reason aren't happy with what's going on, and they can become poisonous to your program. I believe Jeff Linder let a few guys go because they were poisoning his program. And that's just what.
And
it felt like.
Jeff Linder pretty well. I mean, this has to be a tough year for him.
Oh, this is brutal for him. He's never went through something like this. I mean, I don't even remember his first year at the Big Sky with Northern Colorado. I think he won right away there. This team went to the tournament last year, BJ. The NCAA tournament, right? And for him to go through this, what are they 7-14, 7-15?
Lose the preseason player of the year, Graham Ike, before the season even starts. You have the other injuries. You lose your leading scorer due to concussions for the season now. They kick the guys off. By the way, Jake Forsyth, 12.5 is now the line, and he also has over 34.5 first half.
Gosh, I like that
Boise
line
State,
if I'm a sportsman and a BSU fan who likes to play the ponies, so to
You
speak.
think they win this by 13?
I like that over. I'd like Boise State to cover that. Yeah.
Ball game season. Bob Berry welcoming you to the
Appreciate
show.
you guys, man. Appreciate you, Bobby. And where else was I going to go with this on this team?
With Linder.
What
do you think of Marcus Shaver Jr. playing tonight?
I think he's going to start. I think he's going to play, and I think this game
did they
is going to
Did they need to
dictate.
play him, though? I mean, couldn't you have given him 3 more days? Or if he's good enough to go, I guess you let him play.
I just don't think there's any wiggle room here, BJ. And obviously this isn't San Diego State, but Jace Whiting, you could see maybe wasn't ready for that environment in San Diego. Now this won't be that. It's a home game, so maybe you think you can get away with it. Let me throw that back to you. If this is you're sitting Shaver on this thing?
If he's good enough to play, I guess you play him. But we don't know if he's 70% tonight or 100%. I mean, we really don't know. If 3 more days would have made him healthier, then I probably would have sat him.
Leon Rice, and maybe you've noticed this too, but he loves using other sports analogies for basketball.
He stole your Bill Parcells.
He did. So he listens to Idaho Sports Talk. Good for Leon.
Yeah.
He's stealing my material.
He is.
And you can steal it. Anybody can say that stuff. But BJ, all kidding aside.
Actually, you stole it from Bill Parcells.
I did steal it from Bill Parcells. All kidding aside, BJ, on this thing with Leon, he used the analogy, Marcus Shaver's like the quarterback. And when a quarterback gets into the huddle, you can kind of have this sense with him. And I think that's what it is. He also used another analogy, a baseball analogy. Pitch count. So, I mean, is there a minute's pitch count if you're Leon on Shaver tonight? Like, Shaves, hey, do what you got to do because you're only getting 18 to 21 minutes tonight.
Well, you hope you're up 15, 20 points in the second half and he doesn't have to play the last 10 minutes.
Absolutely. That's the dream situation. Nice. Leon's had that situation before in games, and he keeps them in. Remember the Colorado State game?
Well, the Air Force game when he got hurt, they were winning by 12 points or something with 3 minutes left or whatever it was.
Yeah, he sometimes you never, you think maybe he'll pull the plug on some guys, but he sometimes doesn't. But no, I think this is going to be a comfortable game for Boise State. The only bummer I have is this is the last Saturday night game at this arena with this team.
Yeah.
Every other game, and there's some big games coming up. They're going to be on like Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and that's all good, but there's something about ExtraMile Arena on a Saturday. Heck, my girlfriend's coming to this game tonight. She doesn't go to games, right?
She should find Karen. Karen and the boys.
Your wife's here too?
Yeah, they'll be here, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. And then what, Sunday? The next home game's on a Sunday, I think, UNLV.
And that's President's Weekend. So if you want to say, well, hey, no one's got to go to work that next Monday, it's kind of a pseudo Saturday. I could buy that, I guess, too.
I just hope my Battlehawks game is over in time, or else I might miss the start of the football.
Yeah, I hope my Seattle Dragons, they signed Josh Gordon, the receiver. Let's do that. Who's winning the Super Bowl tomorrow?
I will be in Vegas watching it at Stadium Swim.
Awesome.
Circa Resort and Casino. I'm going to go Chiefs.
You flying, Coach?
I am flying on Southwest Airlines tomorrow. No private jet tomorrow.
Hey, Abe Jackson, who you just had on, he had no idea that Boise State provides hot dogs for the media.
And Kit Kats.
And Abe was saying, like, Dude, I always stop and Abe Jackson boys. I always stop and get something to eat on my way here, and I didn't know that there were hot dogs made available. I was like, dude, Abe, the whole year, man. Stop half-stepping.
Any final thoughts?
Yeah, John Anderson asked me.
You never told us who you have in the Super Bowl.
I have Philly, and I'm a little nervous at how much I'm a little nervous at how much I like Philly in this game. I really like the
Pat
Birds.
Mahomes being 1-2 in Super Bowls.
Patrick Mahomes hasn't had a great Super Bowl game yet. The first two, I mean, he had one good quarter, and they won that game. Good for them, but obviously he didn't. He struggled the last Super Bowl. There were a lot of other factors determining that. But John Anderson told me before this, he asked me if Jeff Linder was going to get fired from Wyoming after this year. What are your thoughts on that? Any chance?
No. We love John Anderson, but he once asked me if Coach K was on the hot seat.
Dude,
I mean,
yes, he did.
Yes, he asked the Abu Dhabi guy that was doing the game.
Allah Abdel Nabi. He was doing the game. He was the Dan Dickow.
Did he play at Duke or something? Yeah.
He played at Duke, and John Anderson went up to him on this row and said, Allah, is Coach K on the hot seat?
When Duke was probably like 4-2 or something, you know.
Yeah.
We love John Anderson.
He's the best.
Johnny, appreciate your time as always, man. We're going to get off here a little early. We got about 30 minutes to black out. It's going to be a packed arena. Should be a fun one tonight, man.
Is your wife and kids wearing black?
I don't know the answer to that.
I should have told my folks who were coming here.
They probably don't know it's a
I don't think my people know either, man.
Well,
BJ, it's going to be a good one. You had Rich Waltz on, huh?
That
must have been a treat.
Gloria Nevarez on as well.
What do you think of Gloria? You think you confident the direction of the league?
I think so. I was pretty impressed. I think so. I think
I want to add a team because San Diego State's bolting.
I said on the air, I told her they should go get Gonzaga basketball if San Diego State leaves.
I just think Gonzaga basketball.
You know what her response was?
What?
She goes, I certainly have the cell numbers.
That'd be awesome. I want the Texas inclusion.
You don't want
for
Rice,
football.
really?
I want UTSA. I want the San Antonio market.
They had like one good year.
I want the Alamo Bowl, the Alamo Dome for the stadium. That's a program that's been ranked here and there. I think they were ranked this year. I don't know. I want somebody. I don't think standing pat is the best thing. Andy Avalos wants to go to Texas every year. So does Jeremiah Dickey. Best way you're going to do that, BJ, is somehow incorporate. What about this? What about a super league? Okay. When they lose San Diego State, it'll go down to 11.
10 for the other sports.
It'll go down to 10 for what about football? It'll be 11
for football, yeah.
So let's add San Antonio. Let's add Rice. Let's add Tulane. Let's add
best golfer in the Treasure Valley right here, Bob Berry.
Hey, let me get that beer. Can I have a sip of that? I'm kidding. No, I can't. What about a super league? 16 teams. Get a whole Texas division. That way you're going to Texas sometimes twice a year. And no. What do you guys think? Comment.
That doesn't do anything for me. I'd rather raid the AAC and get South Florida and Memphis. And
I can do that too.
I don't know if you want South
Think
Florida.
about that. If you do that, then there's no group of 5 competition whatsoever.
Well, they'd probably fold.
You can drown out. I mean, the Conference USA and the MAC and the AAC, you're right, probably folds. And then you have, what's the league I'm forgetting? The Sun Belt. Mount West would get that.
Conference USA.
They'd get that bid into the tournament, the 12-team tournament, every single year, man. I don't know. You'd have a monopoly on that.
Yeah, that's a story. That's a conversation for another day. But we'll see what happens. San Diego State with a big win tonight. And, Johnny, wouldn't it be something? Boise State's got 5 games here that are all winnable. Tonight at Colorado State, home versus UNLV, at San Jose, and then New Mexico at home, which is going to be a tough game, but certainly winnable based on how they're playing right now.
What do you make
if
about?
You can win those 5 games. We could be back here with first place on the line again, senior night against San Diego State. That could be fun.
And then going into Logan, not even needing a win?
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. You'd probably still need to win to get a share. But, I mean, if Boise State can win the next 5 games,
they're in the tournament.
A sold-out senior. Oh, they're definitely in the tournament.
They're in the tournament.
You would have San Diego State coming. That'd be one of those probably electric atmospheres. By the way, I got to tell you, we got royalty in the house and the officiating crew tonight. John Higgins is you'll recognize him when you see him. Literally does a game every night. He just did the Albuquerque game on Tuesday. He was in Logan on Wednesday. He was in Eugene on Thursday doing the Ducks. He's a big Big 12 guy. He's the one that had the death threats from the Kentucky fans from the tournament. He's not allowed to referee Kentucky games anymore. John Higgins, man.
Do you get paid by the game? as officials. Do you know
They
this?
do. They do.
Okay, so
And they get about $3,000 to $3,500 a game.
That's awesome.
But that also includes their travel.
Would you have ever considered officiating?
I'm not in shape enough. I would have. I did do it growing up. Baseball umpiring.
Yeah, I was going to say you
I
probably
umpired
be a good
growing up.
baseball ump.
So John Higgins is the number 3 ranked ref at Ken Palm. He's done 69 games this year, which ranks near the top. A very nice total there for John Higgins. And
wow.
Yeah, he was just in. He actually had a day off yesterday. I wonder if he was in Boise for his day off.
Probably traveling. It was beautiful.
He's from Omaha,
yesterday.
Nebraska, and yeah, you'll recognize him when you see him. He was actually on the crew for the Super Bowl Sunday game. He didn't make the mistake. That was Randy McCall, but he was on the crew, and he's the one that gave the statement, and we talked about it, and he explained what happened. Yeah, he's one of the best, man. Big 12 guy, but he's been doing a lot of other games. But how about that, though? On Tuesday, he was at Nevada, New Mexico, the buzzer beater. You watched that, right?
Loved it.
The game of the night in the Mountain West.
Yeah,
the next night, he goes to Logan for San Diego State, and that big game. And then he goes for USC Oregon the next night. I mean, it's not a bad
Who'd New Mexico lose to again last night? Air Force?
They just lost last night to Air Force. But Jalen House did not play, their best player.
Oh, he didn't?
No, and so they lost.
I mean, what do you make of New Mexico? 20. Just NIT now? New Mexico has to go to Vegas and win 3 straight games, right? Another thing, do you think Gloria Nevarez is going to do the double bye eventually for the Mountain West basketball tournament?
I don't know if I don't know, because if you have 4 or 5 teams like this, I don't know if
you need it.
I don't know if it makes the most sense right now. Leon wants it because if you're in the top 2, he thinks you should be in the semis. I don't know. It depends if they lose, because if they lose a team, San Diego State, and they only have 10 teams, that changes the seeding anyway. You're going to have to give more buys and stuff.
Now, this would be a 10-team basketball league. There goes your 20-game conference schedule that you want.
I just want everybody to play everybody. So you could do 8, keep it at 18. Everybody, you play the other 9 teams home and a road.
I want that too, because you made the thing. You said what? Who isn't going to New Mexico?
Utah State.
Yeah, see, that's bull crap, man. That's a big time arena, and they don't have to go through that. Utah State's kind of this sneaky Mountain West team, man. I've seen them on certain nights play really well. Yep. I also saw them come here and get their ass kicked. So that's kind of where this league is, I guess, man.
And we're 30 minutes from tip-off. There's a nice crowd here already. It's going to be a nice buzz, nice atmosphere. Johnny needs to get back in and get some more of those free hot dogs. So we'll end the show, but we appreciate you. People are wanting Montana and Montana State.
That makes no sense on any level. You're not going to want the Montana teams. You don't want to call
North
a
Dakota
team
State.
up.
North Dakota State.
I don't think you even want North Dakota State. I don't think that gets plus. I want Texas. Andy wants Texas.
I want Gonzaga.
Yeah, I just think Gonzaga's going to have better options. But the fact that the WCC lost BYU, I mean, you got to figure that out for Gonzaga.
Come on back for the post-game show, Lithia Florida Boise post-game show. We'll be on after the game, about 30 minutes or so, interviews, highlights, all that great stuff. Boise State, Wyoming coming up in about 30 minutes over on CBS Sports Network. Enjoy the game, everybody. We'll talk to you afterwards. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go follow all of the Bronco Nation news channels, and we'll talk to you after the game. Take care, folks.